What is up, everybody? Welcome. We are back. It is the Pizza Palace, of course, with your boy Robert Winstanley, and of course, Hollywood Sean Murphy. How are you, sir? It's been a minute.
Oh, Hollywood Sean Murphy
That's
got
right.
the Hollywood studio set up now.
Yeah, he's looking hot these days.
So allow me to elaborate a little bit, right, without going too much.
Sure.
So I have a very caring and supportive family base that I'm very blessed to have. Salud, NBA glass right there. And I have grandparents that wanted to know how they could help because they knew that it was a dream of mine to do sports broadcasting. And so they hooked me up and made an investment and allowed me to get this batshit crazy setup in this bitch. And
Beautiful.
So I was just like, what the when I saw the money for the first time and had no idea what to do with it. But, when I saw it, I was just like, in my head, I was just like, oh my God, what the fuck? But, luckily, my grandparents were just like,
we love you. Okay. Come on, Sean. We love you.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, thanks, Dad.
That's great.
Yeah, so I'm pretty blessed. So if you can't tell, Robert, when I said I had some
You're
tools
liking the sound effects. This is an instance where I'm glad that we have yet to go to an audio only version of this. At some point we will have an audio version, I'm sure, but this is an instance where I'm glad because people would be like, what in the absolute ass is happening?
The best part is I can also record samples on command. So
sick.
I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come.
So you can have drops.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm gonna come.
Oh no.
I could even program customize custom program sound effects and shit, pre-program them in. So
well, yeah, I was gonna say because then you have drops. You know what I mean? That's pretty sick.
Yeah, man. So I'm ready to raise hail and praise Dale, and
that's
I'm
right.
Gonna come.
Beautiful.
Hell yeah, dude.
So,
oh my gosh.
Sean, we are actually in the midst of what is perhaps my favorite time of the year, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that is?
It is spring training, or what's supposed to be spring
training. No, it is not, you stupid fuck.
It's opening of NASCAR season.
It is that, but even better than all of these things.
NBA All-Star?
We have entered into, it's related. We have entered into bandwagon season, baby.
God
Let's go. Look
it.
at my backdrop here. Look at it.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
because now that the NBA...
Did you go 80% Heat, 20% Bulls? Is that the point?
So the biggest thing is that I just don't own as much Bulls stuff as I do Heat stuff. That's really mostly what it is. Although I do have a Bulls hoodie somewhere.
Hey, I notice you own Pistons things, and I'm noticing an absence of Pistons things within that. Oh, you son of a bitch. Oh, you son of a bitch. We're
still restoring.
So you're still a closet fan, huh? You're not willing to come out with it.
So see, Sean, let me explain to you. This is the greatest time of the year in the NBA for me as a fan of basketball because you see, being a new Pistons fan, if you will, the team is how do I put this delicately? Dog shit.
Hot dog water.
They are borderline unwatchable. They
are buns and cardigan.
They have been unwatchable pretty much for the past 3 years. Now they're getting slightly more watchable, but they're unwatchable. Now, here's the thing, Sean. Even if they were excellent, I would still struggle to watch them until after the All-Star break because I just don't care enough. Because the thing is I have football to watch. There's hockey. There's other things going on that I'm just not watching the NBA season until the All-Star break is over.
Well,
because
the All-Star break is over, my guy.
Which means for me that the NBA season has officially started. I'm excited.
Well, it's funny because there's so much you're missing, and there's like, are you in a space?
Really not.
Are you in a space where like, you want to like catch up on what exactly has been happening? Like, do you want the previously on 2/3 of the season that you didn't pay attention to?
Not really. I feel like I got pretty much all that I need because you see, here's the thing.
Okay.
If there's anything I missed out on, it's mostly irrelevant.
All right, here's all right. Let's play a game.
Because,
are you ready?
Hold on. Because
I
here's
want
the
to
thing.
ask you a question. Can I ask you a question?
All right.
All right. You have a lot of heat stuff there. All right.
I do.
Name 4 of their starting 5.
All right, I got this. All right, Jimmy
4.
Butler.
I need 4.
Oh, okay.
4
all right, so
of their
not the entire.
5.
Okay, that makes it easier. Jimmy Butler. Tyler Hero.
Nope.
He's not a starter.
No,
he
should
be. He's been excellent.
He's the 6th man.
He's so good.
He's
he
their
should
number
be.
1. He's their elite scorer.
That's fine.
Off
That's
the
fine.
bench.
That's fine.
He comes in with the second unit and gives them some rhythm. Give them some.
You're right. All right. Bam Adebayo. Kyle Lowry, my favorite player.
There's 3.
I got 3 so far.
You're so close.
What's his nuts? Is he injured still? The dude we got.
If only you had half the names of the amount of shirts that you had. You know what I mean?
Hold on. First of all, they're all fucking D Wade and then Jimmy Butler, so I don't want to hear shit. Let's see. Hold on. So Bam Adebayo.
Also,
Jimmy
my
Butler.
Walmart order is on the way, so this will be a thing that will be happening.
That's all right. I'll keep them entertained.
Yep.
And then I already said, okay, let's see. Hold on. I was gonna say Kelly Olynyk, but the fucking Pistons have him now.
Dude, this is bad. This is really bad. You're missing a big name too.
Am I really?
Oh, you're missing a couple big names. Yeah. Let me know when you give up.
Or wait, no. We just got rid of Dragic. Dragic. Didn't we?
Yeah, you did. He's going to Brooklyn, by the way.
That's right, which sucks. So, yeah, Dragic is gone. First of all, I feel like I should get at least some credit for the fact that I know a decent amount of the team that may or may not be on the fucking team anymore, but fuck you, all right? First of all, I've been around since Hassan Whiteside, so suck my dick.
Hold the phone.
All right, here we go.
Duncan Robinson.
Oh, yeah, Duncan Robinson. He's fucking white. I don't care about him. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
No, he's
literally half the players you named were white.
That's fair. He's just, you know what's wrong with Duncan Robinson?
What?
He's good, but he's so generic and has so little personality to me that I just like see him and I just forget he exists. He's like a saltine cracker.
But is he not a notable part of your guys' roster? Is he not?
Whatever. He's not like the character. Because here's hold on. As far as like is of who Heat fan. Okay, hold on. Of Heat fans, right? In the stadium. Yeah. How fucking many of them are wearing Duncan Robinson jerseys? Not many.
I mean, you know what they are? You know what? If they're in the stadium, they're going to be like, ladies and gentlemen, Duncan Robinson.
Sure, but hold on. You have to admit that 99.9% of the people are wearing Jimmy Butler. Actually, that's not even true. 99% are wearing fucking D Wade.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're pointing back at D Wade as if you have a Jimmy Butler back there.
Well, I do.
Oh, okay. Point at the right one. No, I'm kidding.
But they're probably mostly wearing D Wade still. Mm-hmm. But besides that, of current players, 90% of current players' jerseys who are going to be in the stands are going to be fucking Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody's got a fucking Duncan Robinson. So I feel like I can be excused here. Okay.
Right. How about PJ Tucker? The big acquisition they got over the summer from Milwaukee. You know, the guy that's going to help, that could potentially push them over the edge of getting a championship.
Okay, sure, but again, we're talking about
the Bucks over the edge of getting a championship.
That very well may be, but here's the thing: I just feel like
maybe.
Hold on, but here's what I'm going to say though. Because as also being a bandwagon Bulls fan as well,
of course,
it's kind of like you're going to get a Zach LaVine jersey. At this point, you probably would get a DeMar DeRozan.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of a stretch to say that you would get a Vucevic, to be honest.
Dude,
I think Vucevic might be
Alonzo Ball jersey in Chicago.
Lonzo.
That would slap.
Vucevic. Hold on. So it's Vucevic, right?
Yeah.
He is a core piece of this Bull team and an extremely important guy to this team, right? But I don't think any Bulls fan is getting a fucking Vucevic. Like, he's just not. And like, even if you ask like who's on the Bulls team, the first name they're going to say is like Zach LaVine, or they're going to say Lonzo, or they're going to say DeRozan. Nobody's first answer, or even like they're going to like say those three, and then they're going to like blank for a second, and go, wait, who else do we have? Vucevic, as important as he is, ain't nobody sitting there going like, oh, well, fucking Vucevic, he's our star. What are you talking about? Like,
well,
you know
actually,
what I'm saying? Duncan Robinson's a very like, all right.
Actually, if you've been watching a little bit recently, Nikola Vucevic has actually been playing a really big role, been playing really good basketball for them.
Yes.
Has actually been looking like a star. So like, I think it's a little bit different. Now here's the thing. I will say the reason why you probably haven't heard a whole lot about Duncan Robinson this season, or he just feels like distant, is because he's just not shooting it that well this year. He's actually having an off shooting season, and there were reports they were possibly shopping him at the trade deadline. However, he is, now that he's still on the team, he's still going to be a big important part, and especially how much they paid him, which I believe was around the 4-year 120.
It was a bit much. When they made that deal, I didn't love it.
Yeah, I mean, like at the time though, like just like statistically, just like what he's done from the 3-point line so far, you just almost had to make the deal. You know what I mean? However,
okay,
I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying, like from their perspective, like you made the finals with him because of like how deadly of a three weapon he is. Like that's kind of my case for it.
But is it also fair, by the way, because you said starting 5? Is it also fair that I assumed that he might be a bench guy?
Yeah, that is totally fair. That is fair.
So that's another part of it. Okay. So it's like,
Robert,
who the big guys. Also, PJ has been there for like 11 minutes.
Robert, this is all a joke to me. I hope you know.
That's fair. But also with the Bulls, by the way, with Vucevic, like him being a star or whatever and stuff like that. If you only follow the ESPN account on any social media or whatever,
like Sports Center, like
right, you're seeing DeRozan, Ball, or LaVine. You will almost never see Vucevic, no matter how good he is.
Right. I mean, like
he could have like a 70-point game, but if Lonzo Ball scored a game-winning 3 and it was his only fucking point of the whole game, you bet your ass you'll see that highlight 1,000 times more than the 70 points from Vucevic.
Now, Robert, speaking of carrying after the All-Star season, or after the All-Star break, did you watch any of the All-Star break?
No, because I hate All-Star stuff.
You missed out. So, okay, so let me...
I don't think I did. From what I hear, the dunk contest might have been the worst abomination.
Okay, all right. Let me... Hear me out, okay?
Okay, let's see.
So, Friday night...
That's not even true. I watched a little bit of the All-Star game.
Okay, yeah. So Friday night was the Rising Stars Challenge, which was fucking awesome. Cade Cunningham won MVP. They went out and actually played real basketball. They played 4 games. Like there were 4 teams of 7 players, all drafted by like NBA 75 guys. So it actually ended up being Team Isaiah, which had Sadiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart on it, versus Team Barry, which had Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, and Wagner from the Magic. And like, that team just went hard. Cade Cunningham, literally, he eliminated LaMelo Ball, outplayed LaMelo Ball, and was the best player at the Rising Stars Challenge, won the Rising Stars MVP. On top of that, Sunday night was one of the best All-Star games I've ever seen. The guys were like, even though like the first 3 quarters, guys like weren't competing as much in the defensive end, they were, however, competing for the MVP. And Steph Curry, like, because, like, literally everyone, like, when they got the ball, like, they were just starting to try to do shit. And they were all trying to cook. And they were all just trying to get their own things going. Like, Devin Booker had 30 points. Joel Embiid had 36 points. The quietest 36 points. Giannis had 30 points. Like, Steph Curry had 16.
Because literally everyone on defense is just standing around like a popsicle stick.
Right. But then, at the end of the game, when it's the quarter where they add 24 to the final score, and then like they go to 24 above a leading team score, they always play hard in honor of Kobe, because that's what the whole point of the gimmick is that it honors Kobe. So what they do is each quarter is a separate game, and they still add up the total score, but each quarter they win, whichever quarter they win, $100,000 goes towards the charity that they're playing for. So like, let's say Team LeBron wins the first quarter, $100,000 goes to their charity, not Team KD's. So like they're trying to win each quarter because they're trying to win at least some money for the charity. And then whoever's leading at the end of the third quarter they add 24 to their score, and then from there, it's you play till you get to that score.
Okay.
And so LeBron hit a freaking game-winning fadeaway 3 in the corner.
Yeah, I saw that.
Steph Curry hit 16 threes. He was in a zone unlike I've ever seen.
Steph.
There literally had some of the coolest stills and photos ever taken on a basketball court. Like, the dude's just cold. You know what? He's icy.
Yes, he is.
Clean.
He is indeed a bad motherfucker, too. He does a lot of just shoot the ball and turn around.
Yeah.
I just, my thing with all-star stuff in general, and it's not just to basketball, it's even sports that I love. Like, even sports that I just fucking love. I just do not even remotely give a fuck. Like, I just can't. I can't. First of all, the Pro Bowl is an unwatchable mess.
Can I just say, though?
Yeah.
It's ironic that you say that, seeing that you literally were watching the NASCAR All-Star race during your wedding.
I was doing that,
Like,
but that's because I hate weddings, and so I would rather do literally anything else.
Literally, your own wedding. Like, I come up and, like, after I give my speech, I come give you a hug. I notice while during my speech, you still have NASCAR on.
You're goddamn right, I do.
Robert way humanly fucking possible, even at your own wedding.
100%. I had to see if Kyle Busch won it. Instead, Larson won, which was also fine, I guess.
Cherish your wife with all your heart.
And the thing about the All-Star race, the All-Star race also fucking blows, but the only thing about it that is better than maybe any other All-Star game is the fact that it's still a race and guys do still try about as hard as they do any other race. Because they are racing for $1 million, which is kind of a lot. So, you know, that tends to be a big deal. So the All-Star race is still close enough to the actual product that it's okay to watch. Whereas like the Pro Bowl is not football. The All-Star game is not basketball. The All-Star game for hockey is not hockey. Like the All-Star game for baseball is very close to baseball. That's somewhat close. Thousands, not quite the same, you know, but relatively more strung out a little bit. And we saw a lot of like a long snake of cars and then just behind them a little bit of a longer snake. And occasionally they would catch up and they would be too wide. But for the most part, it was like kind of dragged out. They would get side by side for a moment. Someone would mess it up and then it would kind of snake out again. It was very similar to early 2000s Daytona. So I'm sure old school fans enjoyed that. But you still had your big ones. There was a couple of scary moments like Harrison Burton flipping over and getting hit in the back windshield. That was not my favorite. Some NASCAR fans love all the wrecks and people almost dying and stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of that. In fact, I actually think Daytona might be my least favorite track because of the fact that there's always, you know, people almost dying, and I'm just not a huge fan of that. So it is what it is, sue me. But my boy Kyle Busch, he finished 6th. So he was up there. Bubba Wallace finished 2nd for the second time in 4 years. Was it that far ago when he did it? I don't know. He's actually in his last 3 super speedways, he's finished 2nd, 1st, and 2nd. So Bubba Wallace out there kicking some ass for Michael Jordan's race team. So, hey, look, we got some basketball tie in there. But yeah, so Bubba Wallace almost got it. I really wish he could have gotten it. He's finished runner-up in the Daytona 500 twice, so it's coming. He'll get his due. But Austin Cindric ends up winning in the famous 2 car for Roger Penske on Roger Penske's birthday, which congratulations, I suppose. Now, as big of a Kyle Busch fan as I am, I also love Brad Keselowski, which is typically like just for a forbidden thing. You know, it's kind of like liking the Celtics and the Lakers. Like they're just rivals. You don't do that. So. But you know, Brad left the 2 car, and then of course, as soon as he does so, the 2 wins the championship. So, or wins the 500. So,
and that's when John Hancock signed the 1776 Declaration of Independence.
That's right. I was recapping our fans on the entire events of the Daytona 500.
Oh, great! So everyone's gone now.
That's right. We've lost our entire audience. I did tie in the fact though that Bubba Wallace finished second, and he races for Michael Jordan's race team. So it tied in.
Hey, that was a good Sunday for Michael Jordan.
It was a very good Sunday for him.
He got out cheered. He got more fans to cheer in Cleveland for him than LeBron did.
He sure did, but he's Michael Jordan, so you
ain't
know.
That something? Yeah,
that's right.
Michael Jordan.
What we were talking about though is all-star events are mostly ass, and yeah, here we go. Cheers to your fucked up green screen Mountain Dew. Love it. I can't stand them. I especially can't stand a lot of the skill stuff. That's what a lot of people's favorite part is. And I will say the skill stuff is typically better than the games themselves. But I will say this, as much of a hockey guy as I am, I don't really like any of it. The skill stuff I don't watch. I don't care about any of these things. Right. The only all-star thing in general that I will actually watch of any sport is the home run derby. It's the only thing that is kind of cool. Right. And that is literally it.
Can I share my theory on this?
All right, let's hear it.
All right, so first of all, the dunk contest fucking sucked this year. It was the worst
worst
one I've ever seen. First of all, I do want to say how funny it was to watch Jalen Clarence Green try and go out and do a dunk with an NFT around his neck. And that was an idea that sprouted in his genius mind. You know, and I'm not going to lie, felt really vindicating when everyone was like, oh yeah, so he's kind of a cunt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just, I don't really think it was a good look for him. Shaq got bored by the time his dunk was done.
Dude, that was my favorite shit. So. The pictures of him being bored.
Well, and like the thing is that like everyone in the freaking league are like, everyone that was there, they all missed multiple of their attempts. They all went over the time limit. Like, it was supposed to be a 60
That is super annoying.
There's supposed to be a 60-second time limit. Jalen Green had 10 attempts. 10.
That's super annoying. Like, I don't understand. Like, at that point, then you're eliminated.
Well, yeah, and he was. He was pretty much eliminated. But the problem was, even Cole Anthony came out and he tried dunking in Timberlands, which, by the way, even if he made
the Tims,
like, even if he made the dunk, it would have just been like, oh, he dunked in Timberlands. Like, that wouldn't have been like an iconic moment in dunk contest history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, then, dunking in Tims, I understand like what the idea was, but yeah, it's kind of like whatever.
And like the thing is like even, even Obi Toppin. Like, he made some impressive dunks. He did some good stuff. Again, took him multiple attempts, and it wasn't like anything that like blew us away. And like, so here's my theory. I think the dunk contest has been ruined by the internet. I think the best dunkers in the world are not in the NBA, but rather are in the parks, in street ball, in I think they're in actual dunking competitions. And I heard the idea going around of, if you're going to do a dunk competition, have them be real dunkers, have it be a tournament that culminates at the All-Star game, and have real people come in and put like $1 million on the line, and like have the best dunkers in the world go at it. Because like, if you want to do a true dunk contest, first of all, you're not going to find any player that's going to be able to do it, because here's the other thing. People would rather go in the All-Star game, like Ja Morant, for example. He was putting up some crazy dunks during the All-Star game because he knows that his legacy's way less on the line if he's going out there and putting up insane dunks that, you know, are more set up in a natural game flow, and you can be creative, and like, it's harder to fail. And like, if you do succeed, there's no one just judging you. It's like, whoa, look at this dunk Ja Morant did. Whereas, like, you're being compared to Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins right away when you're in the dunk contest. You're being compared right away to Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. It just seems like, you know,
Carter.
Whether it's because of like how many games these guys are playing and like all the practices that they're doing, or like just the fact that like, you know, there's just better shit on the internet, and they just know that like, you know, like why get criticized? Because it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Because like, if you don't do it, people are like, why don't you do the dunk contest? If you do it, it's like, is that really all you could do? You know what I'm saying? So it's in my opinion, they should either change the format or replace it with a 1v1 tournament.
Yeah, something's got to be done because I just feel like, well, first of all, I think that they're all stupid in general. To me, the All-Star break is so dumb that I feel like its original purpose no longer exists anymore.
Right.
To the point where you could almost just give them a week off and no one would give a fuck.
Well,
because I just feel like the whole point of it used to be that it was like,
for the fans.
you know, well, yeah, it was for the fans, but also like there was a whole lot less availability of out of market stuff. Like you couldn't easily access a lot of out of market teams and things like that, right? So like, and that's especially why old fans, older people are like generally fans of their home team because basically that's all the fuck that you got on TV.
Right.
But nowadays with League Pass, with Twitch, with Instagram, with Twitter, like you can see clips or full games of basically whoever the fuck you want from any market. And so it's very easy to be like this, where you're just like fans of fucking random dudes or random teams and shit like that, because it's just, the All-Star game, it used to be like, oh, this is like a one for sure chance that I'm going to see Larry Bird because like, oh, the Pistons haven't played the Celtics in a minute or whatever it is. So, there's shit like that. And that's just, it's irrelevant now. And also like, it used to be a bigger deal because it was just sort of like, again, that one time you were on like a national stage to like really show yourself off and stuff like that. But now it's just kind of like, you're probably already on a national stage. Like you're probably all over the NBA's Instagram or their Twitter or this or that and stuff like that. So you're already kind of being blown out. So there's really no point. It's sort of this thing where the players don't really want to be there. They don't really try that hard. The fans don't really care. And a lot of times they don't really tune in. Like nobody's invested in this thing. So it starts to beg the question as to why we're still even pretending to do this thing. It's the same thing with like the Pro Bowl.
Right.
Like just say, hey, so-and-so is recognized for being great. You're going to feel good as a fan. Like, oh, Mike Evans was recognized. Like, oh, that's cool.
Well,
I do not need to see Mike Evans getting a bunch of these fucking easy passes from Mac Jones or whoever.
Well, what I would say is the Pro Bowl is different than the NBA, because I think whereas with the Pro Bowl, I truly think no one gives a fuck about the Pro Bowl. I don't think anyone's ever given a fuck about the Pro Bowl. Whereas like the NBA All-Star game does actually have some history like behind it. It does have some moments like that can like affect your legacy, and like like people do like in the Hall of Fame look at your all-star appearances. They'll even look at your all-star accolades. I don't know if they should or not. That's a whole other discussion.
They should not.
It's a whole other discussion for a whole different day, right? However,
for sure.
However, just for the sake of conversation, whether they do or don't, or like whether they should or shouldn't, they do. You know what I mean? Like I think in the game of basketball, like there is like all of like the moments and the classic things between games over the years. There's I think of when Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook were forced to team together after KD went to Golden State, and like the assists that they had and how the benches freaked out and everything. I think of all the draft moments on TNT whenever they do the draft, like Charles Barkley this year. He was like, oh, he's on new. Oh, he got traded. He fine now. He threw some icy hot. He gonna play.
Like, yeah, for sure.
He'll be playing tomorrow. Like
there's definitely some cute moments.
Well, and also there was the NBA 75 ceremony, which that was just cool. Like the official celebration of the 75th anniversary in the NBA 75 team. Now, well, I will say, Scottie Pippen's a punk bitch for not being there in person. He is a punk ass bitch for not facing Michael in person. However, it was still an awesome ceremony nonetheless. I had a great time watching.
Seeing Dennis Rodman and Michael Jordan hug was something I needed, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even seeing Michael and LeBron embrace was really cool.
Oh, yeah, that was really cool.
Just knowing, and like, say what you will about LeBron, right? But being in his hometown, and like, being on the 75th anniversary team, being honored alongside Michael Jordan, and oh my gosh, and the moment Kobe's screen hit, dude, I wasn't ready. I got choked up. It was, man,
yeah,
just still hurts every freaking time. You know what I mean? But that's just.
By the way, speaking of LeBron, to kind of lighten things a little bit, it's officially time for him to go back to being the 23. Like enough's enough with him being number 6. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, isn't Is he wearing number 23? I thought he was still wearing number 23 for the Lakers. Is he back to wearing 6 this year?
No, he's 6.
Okay.
I don't know. Google it real quick, but I'm pretty sure he's in the 6 because he was in the 23 for a long time. Went to the Heat, was in the 6, went back to 23, was in 23 when he won the championship with the Lakers, and then randomly decided to go 6.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So essentially, what happened when Anthony Davis came to the Lakers, he wanted his number is number 23. So what happened was Anthony Davis came to the Lakers, and at first they were like, "Oh, well, LeBron could just keep your number. I'll go to number 3." But he was like, "No, I'll give you the number." So he was like, "Oh, after this season, I'll switch to number 6." But the problem is Anthony Davis stuck with number 3. So now 23 is just off the table, and now he's just back. Now he's just back to number 6. So yeah, that's how that happened. Isn't that
absolute
fun?
Buns? Just go to the 23.
That's some buns and cardigan right there.
I fucking hate it so much. Just go back to the 23. I'm sick of seeing him in the 6.
That's my thought.
Anyways, but yeah, so I just feel like the All-Star stuff, it's one of those things where it's not that serious.
Right.
I don't really care. I think some people do get like really up in arms about it, of like either being so unbelievably for it that they're like, this is the greatest event of the year, or there's the people that are like so unbelievably against it where they're like, this was like shooting my mother. Like they just like get so offended by it.
I mean, like it's not something that like
it's like whatever.
It's not something I'm emotionally invested in. What I will say is that it's something I look forward to. Like when it's on the league calendar, I'm excited for it because you know, for me, I've been watching it since I was a little kid. It is kind of the tradition of like, even if this sucks, I enjoy watching it when it goes down because you know. To me, it is like the thing of it is still the wonder and the fun of having the best players in the world all be under one roof for a week.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Now, obviously, it's not the same as it used to be. A lot of guys, quote unquote, miss it due to injury a lot now. That's funny how that works. You know, Kevin Durant's been a captain 2 years in a row. Has Jason Tatum started in his place both years. James Harden is MIA now in All-Star games. You know, Russell Westbrook's not even good enough to get there anymore.
Similarly, how Tom Brady hasn't played in one since like what 2011 or even further.
Dude, we just got to get this out of the way. All this talk I'm hearing about Tom Brady coming back, it is
Senor.
It is palpable. It feels like
I keep trying to fucking tell people,
dude. It feels like he was just saying goodbye to the Buccaneers. And
that is exactly what he's doing.
Which can I just say, Tom Brady, my message to you is to get a fucking life, you loser. Is just Jesus Christ. You have won so many championships. You have won 7 Super Bowls. You've done it on 2 teams, 2 different coaches, 2 elite different rosters, 3 different dynasties, one could make the argument. When is enough? What else do you want? Do you like?
He wants an 8th with the 49ers.
You fucking sociopath. You literal crack addict whore to the game of football. What the hell?
Well, I was just going to say, that's actually the best case, though, of like a star hanging on too long, in the sense of like he's still putting up MVP numbers. And the fact that he's still doing it because he loves the game and not for money, I think is admirable in a lot of ways. Because I think there are some guys that hang on for way too long, whether it be for money or it's for like their own, like, no, I can still do it, but they've been clearly past their prime for way too long. But like my man's still putting up MVP numbers.
Like, but it's still like, even then though, like at a certain point, when is enough? Like what else could he possibly do? Like to go, oh, he's going to go from the greatest of all time to the greatest of all time. Like what, like literally, let's say he adds an 8th Super Bowl. What are you going to say about Tom Brady that's different than what you say about him right now? The only thing that would change is you would change the number of rings you're going to talk about how amazing he is because he's won all the fucking Super Bowls humanly possible. My team can't even win a fucking playoff game. This son of a bitch might die with 11 rings.
Listen, man, I just feel like he wants to put himself into Babe Ruth territory. Like in this territory of like,
he's in there.
It's one thing to, he is, but even then I feel like he and I'm not saying it's necessarily right, but I think he's somewhat scared that he might not quite be to that level, like a mythical creature of like, dude, my man's almost 50 and he's going to win his 8th, maybe his 9th. Like that's just like a crazy amount that you can't even begin to like fathom or understand. Because the thing is like everyone talks about how like, like for instance, right? If you look at, I'm going to bring up NASCAR again, right? Richard Petty, he wins 200 cup races and 8 championships. Now, when a lot of people look back, including myself, you go, how many of those wins were comparable to today's wins? I mean, come on, that's a bit fugazi. He was racing in the 60s and the 70s, shit like that. Like, come on, the 50s, whatever. And same thing with Babe Ruth. It's like, well, he was the most hitting guy or whatever, but he hit when, we still, had fucking, I don't know, fucking Zeppelins flying around and shit. Like, what are we talking about?
Right.
So like a lot of those things, people always discount the great of the greats from back in the day because they're like, well, that's impossible in today's game because, it's just, there's actual competition now. So I feel like Tom Brady's trying to sort of be the modern to be like, no, you can, not only can you do it, I'm the guy doing it. So, which is crazy because even like Peyton Manning, as great as he'll be remembered, he's not even fucking close. Not even close.
Well, yeah, because whatever Tom Brady has in his freaking DNA, just for whatever reason, he's found the cure to longevity to literally, father time doesn't exist with him because literally
that's right.
The only thing that he does is football. He says he's a caring father, but like, oh, I'm going to focus on my family now. Yeah, fucking right. Like this guy doesn't give a shit about his family. If he did, he would have fucking retired at 41.
I think that's a bit harsh, but still, I think that what I
don't
think
give a shit.
About,
I just don't want to watch him play football anymore. God damn it.
For sure. You sound like a basketball fan who didn't like Jordan in the 90s. And even then, again, here's another thing to Tom Brady's thing here, which by the way, if he goes the 49ers, he's a little bit dead to me. Like I'm thankful for the championship, but like what a dick. We could have won 2, you fuck. Anyways.
Be prepared.
Oh, I am. But
he's going there.
I will say this though. I think the thing with Michael Jordan, even, right? He was amazing forever and stuff like that, right? He won 6 championships and stuff like that. But he ends up kind of getting cast out by the Bulls and ends up on the fucking Wizards.
Right.
And they don't do anything. They don't win a championship. Nobody remembers his Wizard years. Like, if you ask somebody, how was Jordan on the Wizards? They would probably assume he was either terrible or they're like, I don't know. Like, they have no fucking idea.
Still average.
But when you talk about, which is great, but nobody knows that and nobody gives a fuck. But like Tom Brady, you can be like, he won on another team. And then it's like, oh, well, okay, but whatever. And then it's like, no, he won on 3 fucking teams. Because even Peyton Manning, like he went from the Colts to the Broncos, won Super Bowls in both. But my man went from one to this one to the next one. It's like he's taking Jordan and making Jordan even look ordinary.
But like, okay, but like, again, how is that not already the case though? Like what? Like again, it's literally he has 7 rings. He won at 40.
He's running up the score, dude.
Cool. Like at a certain point, you're just running up to the score. Where like, yeah, it's great, but like at a certain point, you're really only competing against yourself. So at a certain point, you're still gonna lose. Like that. Like it's just cool, but like again, I just don't see. Again, what's the fucking point?
I do think that his later years will be more appreciated when we're older, to be honest with you, because I feel like it'll be one of those deals of like, well, he was the great one during his younger years, but like, did he have that trail off later in his years? It's like, not really. When he was 46, he was still the MVP. He still won a Super Bowl. Does that? Because even if you look at some of the greats like Wayne Gretzky, you look at, even Michael Jordan, these guys and stuff like that, like, yeah, they were still good, but like, or even LeBron James, it's like, are they still going out there and like literally carrying a team on their back and winning a championship? No, they're not.
Well, LeBron, he's not carrying a team on his back and winning a championship, but at the same time,
if he can do that this year, he's better than Jordan will ever be. I mean, like if he somehow takes this Lakers team and wins a championship,
it's not happening. Spoiler alert.
Jordan looks like a scrub.
LeBron's averaging 29 a game, and this team's still 9th in the West. Like he's literally like leading the league in scoring at the age of 35, and it's not enough.
And I think that that's also what separates Tom Brady, is he's the greatest teammate in the history of teammates that we've ever seen in any sport.
Right. But
because
again,
as great as Michael Jordan was by himself, as great as LeBron is right now by himself, and all these guys, they can score 70 points a game. It does not matter. Tom Brady.
I'm not disagreeing with that. But we said this all when he was retired. Now it's just the conversation of, okay, okay, cool. Tom Brady's just going to go in, and every single year we're just going to watch the same guy win the same game. And then we're gonna talk about the guy for the next week about how great he is, and then then he's gonna sell more snake oil, and then he's gonna go to another team, and he's gonna do it again, and then we're gonna throw the ring party for the old guy who likes to collect the ring party, and then that's it. It's just
I'll put it this way. I think it's in a similar vein to other passions for people. Like look at, let's say, Al Michaels, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the absolute greatest commentators of all time. I mean, he's been around for a million years. Everyone knows his voice. When you hear his voice, you think it's a big game. You just do, right? And it's like, no one's telling him to hang it up. Now, I think he is retiring after this season, or at least he's going to go do something else. But nobody is saying like, oh my God, I'm so fucking tired of Al Michaels. Like, let's get someone else. Like, he's still doing it because he likes to do it. And like if you become like a commentator or something like that for basketball, you would love to do it into like your 80s.
But the difference is the difference is like a commentary role isn't heliocentric upon a person, right? Like Al Michaels might be the one that like loves to like, commentate the big game, but like there's still room for other people to commentate the big game. Like, yeah, Tom Brady, he can, if he loves it, he can compete and do whatever he wants. But like, again, it's just like, it's how like all these young quarterbacks, like, cool. Like, I'd be glad to see like, oh, wow, Tom Brady isn't hanging it up, but it's like, all right, which quarterback in the NFC or AFC isn't going to get their chance just because this guy wants to come fucking do it again? Like, like this year we got to see two quarterbacks who haven't gotten there yet. And we got to see a guy in Matt Stafford who, after 12 years in Detroit, rotting through hell, went out and finally won a fucking Super Bowl. And it would either been that or a guy in his second year taking a roster who's been in fucking poverty of a franchise. But no, let's just have the Brady's better than everybody else party every February. Sign me the fuck up for that.
It's definitely not for the fans, obviously, but I don't think that's why you do things. It's the same thing as like if there was a musician or something like that, like Elton John or something. Like he's still putting out albums, and a lot of them are still great. And it's just he's still interested in it. Like you could say it's money grams, but it's not. Like he still loves doing the music and stuff like that. And like if he's winning Grammys away from guys who are like younger musicians, it's like, who gives a shit? Elton John still wants to do this. Like, let him do it. And similarly, it's one of those deals too, is I think it depends on who you're a fan of, obviously, because it's like the Yankees, for instance, right? Like there was years or decades where the Yankees won 8 of 10 championships in a decade, right?
Right.
So most people were fucking like, this has got to stop. Like 27 championships is fucking ridiculous at some point.
Right.
Whereas if that happened to Detroit, I think Tigers fans would not feel as upset as they do.
Right. Well, like Elton John, when he comes out with a new album, at least he's trying new shit on that album. Tom Brady, it's just you complete the same formula and you do the same thing. It's like how many times...
He loves his job, man.
Good for him. Go to your job somewhere else. Go find another job you like. You're 45. Go away.
I think you're just a really bitter, angry fan who roots for a team that sucks ass.
I'm just annoyed. Like, cool, I get it. Like, go find another way to go stroke your ego, you fucking maniac.
Let me put it this way. If, let's say, Matthew Stafford brought 6 championships to the Lions, then went to the Rams and won a championship, then went to the Browns and won a championship, you'd probably still be pretty okay with Matthew Stafford. You'd be like, you know what, I'm glad to see him continuing to win. Like, you would be a little, wishful that maybe he had won some of those other ones still on the Lions.
Right. But
you'd be all right with it.
But again, like, no matter what, though, like, whoever it is, the argument still changes at a certain point in sports. Like, Brady's hit the pinnacle and, like, keeps setting the pinnacle. But again, it's like, what are you competing with at this point? Because, like I said,
I don't think that's, I don't think he is. Yeah. Like, I don't think he is. I don't think he's trying to do anything other than I think he just enjoys what he does. Like, he just loves his job. I mean, literally the only thing that people do this with is sports or with athletes, because they do get sick of seeing success. But like, you see guys who have careers for years into their 60s when they retire, when they're like 60, 65, almost 70, and stuff like that. I mean, I had coworkers that they've been at their same job for 40 years and shit like that. Now they don't really love their job.
Off of a roof before he gets to play until 50.
But like the thing of it is that it's just like, it's the only career where people root for you to finally just like hang it up when you're doing it at your best. And I don't know. I feel like I have sympathy for it. Like I understand, like it is annoying, especially because like when you're a fan of something, you do have some sort of investment in it, right, whereas you have no investment in most other people's jobs. You're just like, oh, good for that guy.
Yeah.
So like it is, especially as a Buccaneers fan, like it's one of those things of like, oh, well, I'm glad he brought us one, but if he goes and wins championships for other franchises, that's kind of annoying. But like, we got one, so cool, I guess. But and if he had never done that, if he went from New England to like the Jets to like the Eagles to like whatever, I'd been like, what the fuck? I would have been a little annoyed. But
I will say this again: the only way he can prove me wrong, the only way
is if he goes to the Lions.
Is the only way he can truly prove his greatness is if he goes to the Detroit Lions and wins us a Super Bowl. That is the only way. Otherwise, Tom, take a couple of these and bring them home to Mary. All right, go.
Maybe when
yourself.
Maybe when he's 41, or 51, maybe he'll do that.
Dude, I am not gonna lie. I think Tom Brady is the one person. If I had an interview with him in person, I would even if he was like a nice guy, I would be like, "Sir, Mr. Brady, you have been very generous. You've been very kind with your time. I really appreciate it. But God, did I fucking hate your guts growing up. Like I would still need to tell him what a fucking piece of shit he is."
I feel like you would make like a slight joke while you're super nervous, but I think you would also come to love him very quickly in an interview with him.
Oh, yeah, I know. And that's like the thing there's the thing I don't like to bring up. You know what I mean? But like,
yeah, he's like, people always talk about him. Like people want him to be this like world's biggest asshole. Like people just want him to be the shittiest person you've ever met and just like a complete dick.
He is.
I think he has some tendencies to be a little bit of a dick about certain little things of like, he won't admit that the tuck rule was a fumble. Like he won't admit certain things like that or whatever. But I feel like that's more of just like
little cute things, like,
well, I put
like refs like favor him, like
I feel like though, if you're in that position though, you're going to defend yourself and be like, nah,
oh yeah,
like if it's you, you're gonna, it's just the way it be.
Oh, of course.
But and by the way, people are not having this discussion about LeBron James. Well, you're not mad at LeBron James, are you?
Well, I am, yeah. But I mean,
I don't know that you are, not to this level.
Well, all right, here's the difference. I think LeBron does still have something to chase because LeBron isn't the greatest of all time. LeBron's at second. If he wants to be above Jordan, he'd have to at least get to 6. He'd at least have to get
What's he at 4?
He's at 4. He'd have to at least get to 5 to have a real conversation. In my opinion, if he wants to say he's better than MJ, he has to get to 6. Now, here's the thing. I don't even think he's getting to 5. I think he's won his final ring. But the other thing is that he also wants to be the first star to be able to play with his son. So that's the other reason why he has something going on. So it's like for LeBron, it's like, okay, I can't be mad. Like if you want to play with your kid, that's fine. Tom Brady, what's your fucking excuse? Where's your kid, huh?
He enjoys it.
Great. That's cool.
Listen.
Go find a fucking 50 under league at the YMCA. Go win a flag
Go play
football.
In the XFL.
Yeah. Did you see like the XFL is going to partner with the NFL? Like apparently they're like partnering leagues.
I'm excited for this. I like this. If they become like the G League to the NFL, I like this a lot.
I think if that's the case, that's actually a fucking brilliant. I think the Rock's like, guys, we can't beat them. Let's fucking join them. You know what I mean?
I love it. I love it a lot.
I think that's part of why they had the Rock at the Super Bowl.
I think it is too.
Because that's my only logical conclusion as to why he was just like, he just came out and was like, finally, The Rock has come to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I definitely think it had something to do with that.
It has to. Do you like these sound effects, by the way, Robert?
It's great. I love it.
Isn't it fantastic?
It is. Now, yeah. Anyways, I just feel like. Well, no, sorry. I lost my train of thought there for a second.
I know, that's why I was laughing because I'm like, I love that I just could completely throw your train of thought now.
Just derailed me. It's fine. It's awesome.
Yep.
But yeah. Anyways, the point here is that I think that obviously how you feel about these guys entirely is based on what teams you root for and stuff like that. And everyone gets that. But sometimes you just love what you do, and if you're doing it at such a high level, why not keep doing it? But other than that, we had the All-Star game. We have Tom Brady probably being a 49er. But in related news, Sean, your boy Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl since the last time we talked.
Yep. I had this whole last week I had this whole speech planned. I had my Matt Stafford jersey ready to go. I was sitting
I
at
am
the
glad
camera.
we missed this.
I literally sat there for 45 minutes waiting for my guy. And then I
apologize on pod.
And then this guy was like, I said, like, I call him and he's like, oh shoot, I forgot. And he sends me a picture of him with his bass, and I'm just like, oh.
Listen, I would like to apologize for being perhaps the worst co-host of all time in anything ever, because I am notoriously horrendous with our planning of this podcast, and I really do feel genuinely bad about it, because it's like it comes off as that I'm just like really fucking either stupid or that I don't care about it, but
right.
It's
no, right. I don't think that you don't care. It's just like some like a heads up would be nice. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
like,
and I'm aware of that, and I'm always like, God damn it, because I never want to be that guy, and then I'm that guy, and I'm like, son of a fucking bitch. Like, it's just, oh my God. I've had so much shit going on, and like practices and all this kind of bullshit. So yeah, I was doing that, which tomorrow is our last one, and then we have our show on Friday, and then it's good for a little while. But yeah, so it's like, God damn it, man. I did that, and then it was just, it's always fucking something. So I'm like, God damn it, dude.
Yeah. So when that missed, it was like, oh well, there goes my opportunity, because really last week was the victory lap.
God.
That week was really the victory lap week. Now here's what I will say.
Thank God.
Now here's what I will say. I will take my little 20 seconds here with you. I told you. I mean, not just before the Super Bowl.
Can we talk about the fact that they only won by 3?
Yeah, the Bengals are a good team. I never said they were bad, but I
feel like a lot of people are going in like this was going to be like 46-20. Like people talked about like the Rams were just going to destroy Joe Burrow. It was going to be just oh my goodness. They won by 3. Let's fucking
Here's
chill
what
out.
I will say. The Bengals did an amazing job of stopping the run. But if Odell Beckham Jr. did not tear his ACL, that game would not have been as close as it was. Because if Odell was still out on the field,
true,
that changed the whole dynamic of the game. It really wasn't until Matt Stafford was able to carry them down the field at the end of the game that they were able to score again. So if Odell was out there, Cincinnati was fucked, because there just was no way that they were going to be able to cover them both. But I said it before the season. I said it the night Matt Stafford got traded to the LA Rams. I said, congratulations, Rams. You just won the next Super Bowl. And then they did it. And it was...
This is, by the way, not that big of an account. Well, okay, it is, but it is. But let me preface
Stafford,
one thing,
it's a big accomplishment. For a Matt Stafford...
For him, it is as a person, sure. But for Christ's sake, like the Buccaneers won a championship and they had a good team, but they basically drafted that whole team and stuff like that or whatever. The Rams couldn't have possibly bought this fucking team more than they did. I mean, they mortgaged their future to 2027 to barely beat the Bengals, who suck.
Now I will
basically
say
by 3. They beat a team that no one cares about by 3 that had basically a rookie quarterback and a rookie wide receiver, and they bought that championship.
That's all fine and dandy. But guess what?
Embarrassing Rams.
But you know who got him to that championship? Matt Stafford. You know who carried him this entire playoff run? Matt Stafford. You know who retired Tom Brady in Tampa Bay? Matt Stafford. You know who ended the career of Jimmy G in San Francisco?
Our offensive line retired the fucking Buccaneers.
Yeah, well, also, so did that throw by Matt Stafford at the end of the game. But, it is what it is. Listen, all I'm saying...
Anyone could have made that pass.
Listen, hey, you motherfucker. Everyone's... I don't know. It just seems like people are starting to move the goalposts again and again and again after Matt Stafford
it's cool for him. If it's impressive for anybody, it's Matt.
Yeah.
And if it's impressive for anybody.
And also for Aaron Donald, who fucking took over the game in the second half. Like literally,
very true.
He came out after that freaking after that touchdown at the beginning, which was the no call face mask, which by the way, Robert can attest how much that pissed me off.
For sure, which it was egregious, but I also thought that it was a slick play. I kind of liked it.
Well, I mean, yeah, you liked it, but I mean, it all comes down to who you root for, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it was the
sure. I thought it was just slick because I liked the way he did it. It wasn't like it was kind of sly.
It was the most blatant face mask of all time. Nothing about it was sly. Literally raked across his face mask. Nothing slick. You motherfucker. Anyway,
it's just funny to me also because I'm like, the Rams mortgaged their future to 2027 to win a championship, and they barely did it with all the talent they had. And the funny thing is, I'm like, they did all of that for a fan base that doesn't exist.
Right.
That is hilarious.
Well,
like, because all of the St. Louis fans, which were actual Rams fans, those guys were diehard in St. Louis.
Yeah.
They moved the team back to LA that didn't care about them the first time they were there, least of all the second time. And so it's like nobody cares that they won this championship.
Well, the only way you get people to care in LA, and like it's unfortunate this is true, you have to win. You know what I mean? So it's like you almost have to
win.
And
even then, that's not true.
Well, like in the Rams, like I think the Rams have more care towards them than the Chargers do. Because Jesus Christ, the Chargers couldn't even fill a freaking soccer stadium when they were playing there. So like it's bad.
They're the Arizona Coyotes of football,
dude. Can I just say, I saw what the new Coyote Stadium's gonna be next year, dude.
You mean Arizona State's new stadium?
Yeah, it's literally smaller than the Van Andel Arena. This is a professional hockey team.
Not really, but yeah.
Is this
in name only?
Is this same owner Robert Sarver of the Phoenix Suns? Is this the same people?
Actually, I think he used to own the Atlanta Hawks. Remember when the Hawks were like almost not a team not that long ago when they had like highlighter unis and shit?
Oh yeah, that guy. Great. I'm glad. It's that guy.
I think it is that guy. You can Google it, but I think it is.
I just say how much this sounds like I'm on the radio. Just like how like
I love it.
Dude, it's like I could even just
This is brought to you by Snowflakes. Snowflakes. They're great for your nose. Keep them out of the way, I suppose. I was about to rhyme with hose.
But anyway, we're back. I know. We're back.
No, but I just think the thing with LA, right, is that the teams that are good there, the hardcore fans of those franchises exist anywhere but LA.
Well,
if you're a hardcore Dodgers fan, you are nowhere near LA.
Well,
if you like the Lakers, you're nowhere near LA.
Well, it's not even about like the thing that sucks though is that it's not even about LA having a team. It's about LA having an NFL market. That's all it is. That's all it's about is having an NFL market in LA is to have, because it's really about what that arena serves as for the league. It serves as a home for Super Bowls every 4 to 5 years. It serves as the center of their entertainment hub for their network. It serves as, like here's the thing, even if no one
easy for celebrities to get to.
Yeah, it's easier for celebrities to get to, but like, even if no one gives a fuck about the teams themselves that play there, who do care, who will care, the celebrities of the teams that will come to LA to play those teams. They care about the Cowboys that they come and play at SoFi Stadium. They'll care about the Giants that they come to SoFi Stadium. So like the truth of the fact is like I never felt like this was about LA having their team. Like it's always just been about, okay, it's all about having football. Now, it just so happens the LA just acquired one of the most well-run franchises in the league. I mean, here's the thing, say you will about like how they won a championship and like all that kind of stuff. They really, instead of getting first-round picks, traded for talent for those first-round picks. You know what I mean? So like it's really like they like sure you could say
and they've been competitive for a long time. They've made a decent amount of Super Bowls over the last 20 years.
Well, yeah, and like
even when they were in St. Louis, I mean, Jesus.
And like
I had the greatest show on turf.
And I still think there's a world where they return Aaron Donald and Von Miller on the same team next year. I think
they will, and I think that they're easily championship contenders next year.
Yeah, and I think Odell comes back.
I do too.
So, like, you know, I just, to me, like, I get why, like, people, like, are mad or, like, annoyed, because, like, I get it. It is the LA team buying, you know, like, a championship. Like, any other narrative like that, yeah, like, I get it. However, Matt Stafford, like, if you watch that game, like, and I was even watching, like, the full, like, mic'd up during the game, too, and, like, how Stafford talks to his receivers, like, him interacting with OBJ and, like, the confidence he was showing in him. Like, OBJ he literally, I texted the quote, he's like, "Why are you number 9? You always throwing dimes. You should have been number 10. Like that's how guys talk to him. And he was always, like, confident in the huddle, like, never fearful, like, always was just super, you know, consistent, and just, like, the guy's a champion.
It is really cool for him. Absolutely.
The guy's a champion, man. And, like,
I take nothing away from Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, like, because even if you watch
I joke,
that game,
but I don't take anything away from him.
Yeah, like, and even if you watch that game, like, that final drive was fucking money.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
that was just classic Stafford being amazing at what he does.
Yeah, which, by the way, everyone's like, "Oh my God, the no-look pass."
He's literally been doing that forever.
Literally,
I've been seeing that at Thanksgiving for like 10 years.
Literally, what was I saying during that final drive? Here we go. Here's Matt Stafford. I literally was like, "Yep, there he is." I was
it's just what he does.
Yeah, it's like, this is.
We've known this for so long as Detroit fans.
Yeah, it's just exactly. It's just like, yep, this is what he does. Matt Stafford's doing Matt Stafford things right now, and it was incredible.
We've been seeing the no look for so long, and I don't understand why it took him. I mean, I know why, but it's just bullshit, because it's like, yeah, I mean, like, I've been watching him do that.
Yeah,
and I'm not even like a Lions fan. Like, I do root for them, and like if they win, I'm like happy for them, mostly because they're inconsequential to the Buccaneers and the Raiders most of the time. But it's just like one of those things of like, I've watched a lot of Lions games throughout my life, and I've been seeing this shit. And it's just like, yeah, he is awesome. We've known this.
Well, now it's just the emptying thing of like, okay, well, again, you know, super glad he won. And like, I was super joyful that he won. But then it's the empty thing of, okay, well, we had that in Detroit for 12 years and we never got it done here. So it does come back to the thing that this sucks. You know what I mean? It always comes back to
it does suck. Because imagine if we have Cade for 10 years and then he goes to like the Heat and wins a championship.
I would. Dude, I would off my balcony right now just thinking about it. Like, yeah, I just don't want.
Absolutely, like, it's so shitty. Like, if you watch your franchise guy and you just invest in him, you love him, you wear his jersey, you go to the stadium, like, he's your guy.
Yep.
And then he goes somewhere else, and you see him win a championship, and you're like, God damn it!
Right?
Like, seriously,
it's like
what
okay,
the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, what else? What other bullshit do we want? Keep going.
Right.
You know, let's find, you know, hey, Tom Brady, 8th Super Bowl. Here you go. You fucking.
But it is crazy because it's just like, you're happy for him on some level, but it just makes you even more pissed about your own team, because it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, yeah,
seriously.
that's exactly it. And, you know, like, and like, I believe in Brad Holmes. I believe in Dan Campbell. I like the culture that we're building, and it's like what I say too, of like, it feels like we're building our own original unique identity, which is something that the Lions have been in dire need of for a long time. So
this is the first time maybe ever that I have, you know, since I've been watching sports and watching the Lions, which is probably about 2008-ish, something like that. This is the first time that I felt like this team feels kind of like a team.
Yeah.
Even when we had, you know, our best teams where we went to the playoffs and stuff like that, you had Megatron, you had Stafford and stuff like that. There was some great guys. There was a lot of talent that I enjoyed or whatever.
Right.
But they never really felt like a team. Like, they kind of felt like good players that were kind of just together.
Right.
You know, never really a team, you know.
No, yeah, for sure. No, I agree with you there.
Yeah, but yeah, the Rams win the Super Bowl, which is kind of one of those, like, if it wasn't for Matthew Stafford, everyone would just go, well,
yeah. Now, I will say also, congrats to Eric Weddle, which, by the way, how much he did. And, like, he literally came back in the playoffs, what became the defensive play caller again. Just like, you know,
very impressive.
Carrying the entire defensive play calling. Had a torn ligament in his shoulder. Like, his shoulder was all taped together. And now he's retiring to go become a high school football coach. Like, isn't that the most bad? Like, they should literally write a movie about that shit. Like that is,
and
literally
it'll have a whole bunch of years making fun of the Chargers and how dumb of an organization
Yep.
they are in general.
But
which I'm all for.
Yeah, but like, listen, man. Yeah, like I was just super happy for him. Even the offensive lineman who played for the Bengals and also for the Rams, the one who oldest player in the league. He's retired now, obviously. Aaron Donald ain't
very
going,
cool for him.
Aaron Donald ain't going nowhere. Sean McVay ain't going nowhere.
Sean McVay is going somewhere.
Well, no, he said he's not retiring.
We'll see what happens.
I think he's going to.
It depends on what he wants to do.
Extension. He's going to get the fattest contract extension in NFL history.
He's going to have to, because there's apparently television contracts out there that are offering him twice what he's making as a coach.
Oh yeah. Well, because they're
going to have to offer him something crazy.
Well, yeah, because he came in and he was so cheap because of how young he was.
Yeah.
Like he was only getting paid like $5 million a season right now, which for Sean, for Sean McVay, it's like, dude, like, hey, I'm a Super Bowl winning coach now. I made it here twice. Like, show me the money.
And yet I'm really not that high on him. I'm very down on Sean McVay. I really am. I don't like this fucking guy.
Can I just tell the story?
My man barely fucking won against the Bengals. He won by 3 in the Super Bowl.
Okay, Robert, can I tell the story of when we were in the car, the argument that we kept having about Sean McVay? Like every time we would say something,
it was the best example that I could come up with or whatever, because of obviously there's a lot of other things that I hate about him and his style. I just feel like
but those timeouts
me as a guy
the 49ers.
The timeouts were egregious. But the thing is that it's just like one of these deals where I feel like he plays a very panicked, non-composed game most of the time. And he looks like he kind of wins by this, despite himself almost. And he kind of wins by the skin of his ass.
I think
he was saved by the fact that their talent is ridiculous.
Well, yeah. At the end of the day, Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp won him that game. They did not win because
he almost blew it.
Yeah, he didn't. Like I said, I'm in agreement with you. They did not win because of Sean McVay. They won because of Matthew Stafford. However, you do have to look at the larger sample of his coaching career and everything that he does. And offensively, he might be the best offensive mind in football. Like one of the best ever. He's revolutionized the game, dude. How many guys has Sean McVay gotten a job already? And like, look at how successful they've been. Kyle Shanahan was a Sean McVay guy, technically. Kyle Shanahan has a job. Like,
okay, other coaches, sure.
You know what I mean? Like just the coaching tree that he has. And on top of that, like you do have to give him the credit of like he got there with Jared Goff and Jared Goff was largely a winning quarterback under Sean McVay's time. Now, the only reason that
I don't think he's that bad. Hot take. I think if the Lions get a decent enough, offensive group, some wide receivers, a decent run game they can actually stand behind. They already are trying to build the offensive line, stuff like that. I don't think he's that bad. Really don't.
So, may I just say, you bastard, you take that back, you son of a bitch. Fuck you.
I really don't think he's that bad.
I think I'll come and whoop your ass.
God damn it.
I'm going to come and whoop your ass. I should get the fucking glass shattering Stone Cold thing on here.
That'd be great.
My God.
I just think he is a guy that I don't. Now here's a guy that I think is. I just don't think that low of Jared Goff. I really don't. I think he's got a lot of mental toughness. I think he's got a lot of physical toughness. And I think that he's the type of guy that I think for the most part makes some decent plays with what he's given.
I'm sorry. You said Jared Goff had mental toughness and I laughed inside.
I think he does.
Listen, man.
I really think he does.
Okay. Here, in all seriousness, this year in Detroit was a tale of two Goffs because the first 11 weeks, it was rough. There is no
lot of weeks.
Yeah, like a lot of weeks this year. He did not play good. He did not play good quarterback to the point where Dan Campbell even came out. I was like, we need more from Jared. Like literally said that in the media, which they did need a hell of a lot more from Jared.
They sure did, but also like they were still figuring out who was going to be their play caller. They were also figuring out their own fucking offense. They have literally no wide receivers at that point because St. Brown was still a rookie and still figuring out who he was.
Yeah.
Their tight ends were kind of whatever.
Like,
their offensive line is still, they're working on it. They have no running back.
Well, yeah, but like, okay.
I mean, what the fuck's he supposed to do?
Okay,
And they still almost won a bunch of games with him. They only lost by like one in like half of those games.
But this sounds exactly like what I would be saying about Matthew Stafford if he was still here. It's like, okay, he doesn't ever run a game. He doesn't. But like, you know what the difference is? Matt Stafford would win us 8 to 9 games. Jared Goff won us 3 and tied us 1.
Yeah, but Matthew Stafford never had this bad of a team.
You're kidding, right?
Well, no, because he had Megatron.
He might have had Megatron, but he inherited the team that went 0-16.
Well, he did inherit the 0-16 team, sure. But like the 0-16 team was not the team that Stafford had going forward from that point. They made a lot of changes once they got Matthew Stafford.
But like
that was not the same
but
team.
It's not like he had the 85 Bears either. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we never had
I know exactly.
We never had a true team for him.
I know exactly what you're saying, but this Lions team is kind of buns.
Yeah. It is.
And I think they're working.
What other Lions team is? Every other Lions team we've had is kind of buns.
I feel like this team is as close as they've been to the 0-16 Lions, is all I'm saying.
Oh,
and I
agree.
feel like, yeah, when you're coming into an 0-16 Lions team, not as a fresh rookie, as a guy who's already been places. That's the other part of it too. It's not like you're like learning together. You're kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
You're a guy who's already been in an established offense who was already successful, and all of a sudden you're showing up and you're like, wait, I have to throw to fucking who?
Right, but
you're
again,
like, who's that guy?
But again, the argument would be if Jared Goff was an established quarterback. We have seen guys who get that kind of contract who can take less and turn it into more. Like Deshaun Watson is a guy that, like, you know, when he's not being a pedophile jackass, he actually can throw the football.
I don't think Watson was a pedophile.
Well, he's Deshaun Watson's the one that's the sexual assault SA stuff.
Yeah.
So in that way,
but I don't think it was let's just put allegedly before all of this. We can't.
All right,
get sued.
Alleged. He's allegedly a prick. But anyway,
yeah,
we'll just say allegedly he's a prick. But anyway, when he's not allegedly being a prick, then there's also there's also other guys, you know, like Derek Carr, who took less and made more. You have guys like Matt Stafford, who took less and made more for a lot of years. You have guys like Tom Brady, who took some weak receiving casts and brought them to Super Bowls. Made Julian Edelman a borderline Hall of Fame player.
Can I make an argument?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that this was an 0-17 Lions team, and I think he did more with them. I think this team didn't deserve to win a single game, and I think the only reason why they were competitive to the point where they almost won and were, you know, miracle field goal kicks and various things away from winning games, and then eventually won multiple games, and then also tied a game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is no slouch, no matter how bad they are.
Yeah, but like
I think Goff kind of overcame.
Well, but like I think the difference is though is like a lot of that was coaching. Like a lot of it wasn't like what Jared Goff was doing. A lot of it was like going for it on fourth down and like the play calls that we
but
made.
if you put not Zach Wilson,
a lot of it was like the fake punts that we took. A lot of it, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like the creative play calling that like Jared Goff was a part of that, and like he did have some parts where he was the one making those plays. Absolutely. And I'm not saying Jared Goff didn't play good football for us, because in the second half of the year, Jared Goff, because he was a tale of two Goffs. The first Goff, fucking terrible. Should have been out of the league. Like
I think that's also on coaching.
Well,
I think the coaching was still trying to figure themselves out. Listen, all I'm saying is if you put Sam Darnold on this same Lions team, I think they would have went 0-17.
I agree with that.
And I just think next year, now that they've had a full year under their belts, and if they can get a few more wide receivers and things like that, first of all, if they had kept like Galladay or just about any fucking wide receiver in the last 10 years, then he probably would have won probably double the games he did this year.
It's a good
I think next year they have a real chance to win double the games.
It's actually a really good thing we didn't keep Galladay, though. Really good thing. How many touchdowns did he have in New York?
I don't think that's Galladay's fault in zero, but I don't think that that's necessarily Galladay's fault. I think that if he stayed in the same system or if he like had went with Stafford or some sort of variation of that or whatever, I think he'd have been okay.
But
I just think that the Lions are maybe one of the worst organizations in football.
Well, yeah, am I disagreeing with that? Hell no.
No, but I don't know that's entirely on him. I don't think it's like, oh, it's a good thing we got rid of him because he's talentless. He's not talentless.
Right.
I think the Giants are talentless.
Right. But like what I'm saying is like you generally don't feel too bad when ultimately at the end of the day you're going to be able to get a compensation pick out of it. You know what I mean? Like we're getting a third round pick, which is nice in return for a guy who didn't score a single touchdown this past year. So it's like all right, that feels pretty good. Like that's a pretty good trade.
That is nice. I think he could have had a decent amount with Goff this year, though, especially in tandem with St. Brown after he, became better and stuff like that.
But again, I just don't think Jared Goff is like the quarterback that, like, again, I'm not disputing that he has talent because he does. And I think he can win you a couple games a year just off of his talent alone. I agree with that. But, like, other than that, I don't think he's that kind of quarterback that can win you games off of his talent. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, like, that's not his primary thing,
I'd say he's very similar in some ways to maybe, let's say, Kirk Cousins or something, who had an excellent season this last season.
Yeah, but
right?
I think Kirk Cousins is
I think he's very similar. I think that he is, but I think a lot of that also has to do with how stable the franchise is being the Minnesota Vikings. Right. The Minnesota Vikings, they're not a great franchise, but they're not a bad franchise. They are just so even keel. They're just so even keel.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that Jared Goff, I think if they get him more stuff, I think he can be about as stable and I think he can be as good as him. But I just think that, it just kind of depends on what talent is around him and that kind of thing. And obviously, I don't think either of those guys are going to necessarily put you over the edge. I think that Matthew Stafford's a guy that can. I would argue that Derek Carr can. I think that there's a few guys like this that are able to put you over the edge. I don't know that he can, but I think if you have enough talent, I think that they can at least make the Super Bowl and maybe even fake a win, like Joe Flacco. Horrible quarterback, was able to fake his way.
Yeah, I just don't want us to like hitch to this wagon. You know what I mean? Like I think.
He's not the quarterback of the future. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But he's not like some bullshit ass. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's good. He's good enough to fill the gap. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
That's about where I'm at with him. It's not. I am by no means like expecting anything other than like him being here for like the next year, 2 tops. And then after that, it's like, we got to move the fuck on because it's like, all right. Like,
he's the quarterback that's going to win a decent amount of games, keep spirits high, maybe even sniff the playoffs, now that they're expanded.
Right.
And I think that, you'll realize, we can almost make the playoffs, but I bet we can really do it if we have someone that isn't him. I think it's that guy.
It's almost like what the Rams did by getting rid of Jared Goff and bringing in Matthew Stafford. It's almost like you get rid of Jared Goff when you could go get the quarterback when it's time to go do that, right?
Oh, no. No, we have to move on. That's so fucked.
Did you not think about that?
That's so fucked. Checkmate. Anyways, I simply have nothing to say to that because goddamn, I mean, hey, you got me on that one.
I really fucking did. Yep.
So anyways,
that's one of my best gotchas I've ever had.
Hey, I mean, hey, you really nailed it there. It is what it is. He is kind of that guy, ain't he? That's fucked. That is fucked. I hope the best for Jared Goff. I hope that maybe he can prove us wrong, but Jesus,
me
that's
too.
Fucked.
Me too. But like, I mean, that's what he is right now. That's just what
brutal.
He is. Mm-hmm.
Fucking brutal. That's a better career than I have. Anyways,
True.
I would like to bring up your Michigan basketball coach, Sean. He is suspended for the remainder of the season, which is only 5 games.
Remainder of the regular season. Yep.
Which is 5 games.
Which is the end of our season.
Exactly. So it's like whatever. I think it's one of those things where I get it, sorta. I think it's both of their faults, to be honest. I think he knew he was doing the wrong thing immediately because when you see him go to hit him, he kind of curls his fingers because he knows he's so fucking angry that he has a reflex. And in the middle of the hit, he like is peeling himself back because he just simply like he knows what he's doing is gonna get him in trouble. But I just feel like it's one of those things. It is what it is, and I also feel like you don't obviously want this kind of stuff to get completely out of hand, but this is the type of shit that grows the game. So I just, a lot of times I'm like, this is just what you let go. Like, how many people are going to talk about this for weeks and weeks and stuff like that? And like, how many great fights have we seen? The Malice in the Palace, for instance, where it's like, you know, some people, when it first happens, it's like, this is the worst day in NBA history. This is a dark cloud that will hang over and this franchise will forever be embarrassed. No, we're fucking not. We look at it that as like one of the coolest badass moments we've ever had. Like, it was just like one of these like crazy things. You had to be there. Everyone looks it up on YouTube. It's fun. So, you know, I get it. They have to do what they got to do. But at the same time, I'm just like, stop being such fucking pussies about everything. Can we?
Yeah. So I'm in the place where, first of all, I do just want to acknowledge, with Juwan Howard, you just can't do it. You can't. Like, you know, like there's, you know, whenever a player does this kind of thing, we're all up in their asses about it, and it's all about, you know.
Well, most people aren't. I think it's cool.
Well, yeah, but like, you know, everyone else is all up in their asses about it. And like, coaches are always the first ones that are like, we need to uphold, maintain sportsmanship and character. And it's like, and I don't even care if it's a coach I like, because it is. I love Juwan Howard. I wanted him to be the coach of Michigan. I still believe he's a great coach. I still believe he's a man. I still believe he's a man of character.
I hate the University of Michigan, and I like the guy a lot.
Like I just, like, you know, literally whenever like people ask about his career in like the NBA, like I was looking up, like, honestly, he hasn't had a history of this before becoming a college coach. So I think part of it is he's so much of a papa bear about his kids and about his students that it brings out a different level in him, because those are his kids. And like, I think
they're not adults.
Yeah. And I think with the timeout, because the timeout was stupid. The Wisconsin coach also, I mean, he did what was called a blow by. You know, he walked by, didn't really want to say anything to him, and like said something sly, like, I remember you did that, and moved on. Now, the Wisconsin coach fucked up in the fact that, first of all, don't put your hands on a grown man.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea, huh?
Especially to grab him in the way that he did, where he did, escalated things. And I think, you know, with Juwan Howard, like, you know, doesn't matter how big of a guy he is, at a certain point, survival instincts kick in. And I think, and I think I think it just got so escalated so quickly that, you know, and like the other thing too is like the other like assistant coaches at Wisconsin were like posturing up too, and they were kind of getting in his face. So it's just like, it was just it was way dumber than it needed to be. But also, it was like one of those things where, I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what the context is. That's just shit you can't do. Like,
sure.
You have to be an adult. You have to be better at your job. Like, this just can't happen again. If it happens again, he should lose his job. But I
get it.
I think the suspension, you know, do I think less of Juwan Howard because of this? I don't. I think this will be something that we'll remember, and we'll be like, oh shit, yeah, that was crazy. But outside of that, like, I don't think Juwan Howard's gonna ever do anything like this again. Because if he does, I think rightfully so, he would lose his job. But, you know,
sure.
Now, for me as a fan of sports, like when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, hell yeah! Like, raise hell, plays Dale. Like,
you see, exactly. And I think as big of a hockey fan as I am, I'm like, that's the thing that's like so bizarre, is that it's like everyone gets all fucking political about this shit out of nowhere, and I'm just like, bruh, I watch hockey and I'm like, I would fucking love this shit. I love violence.
Well, again, where it's supposed to be different though, because the one thing is, if this was professional basketball, it'd be one thing, but this is college, so you are dealing with students, and anytime your action directly results in violence from students onto other students, that's also a problem, which, by the way, did happen. Like, other players started punching each other, and a lot of that was because of the ruckus that Juwan Howard and the coach of Wisconsin started, because Juwan Howard's move did escalate everything to that next level.
Oh, big time.
So, like, here's the thing. They're both children. Neither of them really took responsibility. And here's the thing. I personally, I want to defend my guy. I want to defend Juwan Howard, and I would say, well, this guy was being a fucking idiot. He was being an asshole. He was trying to prove a point. But, like, they're both being idiot and assholes, and they both can be better than that. Like, really?
Right.
Like, here's the thing. Just shake hands, move on with it. If you don't like it, call them later. Don't do it in that freaking area. Like, that's just like the worst way to go about it. It's just being a fucking adult 101. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think part the redneck in me loves shit like
praise Hail, brother.
I hate nothing more than when drivers are adults.
Right.
I love more than anything in my whole fucking being when they lose the race to a guy or whatever, and they go on pit road, and afterwards you see, oh no, there's a fight on pit road, and you see the pit crews jumping at each other, and you see fucking swinging and bullshit, you see helmets flying.
Mm-hmm.
I love nothing more in my whole life than seeing grown men acting like children on the playground. It is my favorite thing. It should happen a lot more often. Absolutely love it in baseball. Everyone does. You got like a 60-year-old man yelling at an umpire, and next thing you know, you got guys getting tackled. I love that shit.
But again, the difference is those are adults, and if adults want to do it, that's one thing.
Well,
but
hold on. High school is kids, but college, they're adults enough.
But they're still kids. Like, they're still like 18 to 22-year-old kid. Like, they're still like, when you're a coach of a college basketball program, your primary job is truly to develop young men. Basketball's secondary.
Well, okay, but college sports is fugazi at this point. It's not even college anymore.
Well,
it really is.
I understand, Robert. That's not the argument I'm making. Again, what I'm saying is this is how it's supposed to be. So, like,
sure, but it hasn't been that way in almost 30 years. I mean, college sports have been fugazi for a long time.
I'm not disagreeing with you. You're just making the argument I'm not making. I'm just saying, like, it's just like you can't do this in college sports. Like, it's kids.
But that's like, I mean, I listen, I know what you're saying, but just because something's supposed to be some way, it's the type of shit that it's like, you're not supposed to jaywalk, but everyone does it just about every day. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, it's the type of shit where it's like, are you supposed to? But
coaches don't go swinging at other coaches every day.
They do throw chairs sometimes, though.
Well, okay,
that's still my favorite highlight from like fucking like what's that 70s?
Dude, no, there is no one that can get away with Bob Knight shit anymore, dude. Not a chance in hell.
It's the
best. It could literally be Bob Knight himself or Bob Knight Jr. Like, it could literally be his literal semen just walking across a basketball court with a freaking jacket and legs and everything. But it would still, like, he would still get fired on the spot if he threw a chair.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that the posturing of a lot of it is lame to me.
Now, I think I wish there was more room for more fun like this. Like, I wish we could look at this and go like, oh shit, like, what a cool fucking altercation that was. But it was just ugly. It was ugly. It didn't go well, and I don't think
to me it's just lame because there wasn't enough contact. I wanted more punches to land. That's my thing with fights, is that there's never enough punches that actually land.
Well, but like, to me, like, fights like these ones are dumb because it's just like you all just look like stupid at the end. Like, no one at the end was like, yeah, this is awesome. Like, it was just stupid. It was childish. Oh, you were like, yeah, it was awesome. I want to
see them. I want to see them throwing punches, then I want to see a guy crack 2 beers over his head and fucking chug them.
Now, I will say I love the meme, the Juwan Howard meme that's being sent around. Like, I saw one where it was Evan Mobley's rookie of the year, and someone put Juwan like swinging at him, like they hand out like this. Like, I like that shit.
I love it.
Like, anytime we can turn that shit into memes. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm all for it.
Who doesn't love it?
It just, with how much I respect and like Juwan Howard, I just didn't like it because it just wasn't a good look. You know what I mean? It was
strange just because of he is such a mature seeming guy, and he's such a respectable
he's from the
coach,
Miami,
and so it was a little interesting.
He's from the Miami Heat coaching tree. He's from the tutelage of Eric Spoelstra. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy's
boy.
Like, this guy is like he was brought in because of the class act that he is. And like, any time that you have, and the other problem too is people make it political, but also people subconsciously make it racial. So people are going to make it about, like anytime that this kind of thing happens, especially with like a black coach on a white coach, like, it's just
100%.
It just adds that other layer to it. So it's just, to me, I just look at all the ugly aspects of it that come out of it.
Because that is the only part that sucks.
Because that, like, people over at Fox News are going to have their fucking day with it. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. No, this is the one thing that is a bummer to me because to kind of actually tie it in to the Daytona 500, Bubba Wallace finished second, and he is the only black driver.
Right.
And the thing of it is that I talked to multiple old people at my work that also watch racing, and they were like, oh, that was a heck of a race, and we were like talking about it, having a good old time or whatever, and they're like, I'm just glad that Bubba Wallace didn't win. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Now, of course, they'll try to claim that it was because of like the whole like fake news incident or whatever. Shut the fuck up. They hated him before that. It just gave them justification, and they don't like him because he's black.
Yep.
And so it is that thing of you're just giving somebody the reason. Like it's like they wanted to hate him already.
Yep.
And all they needed was that reason. You give them that reason, and then they're gonna bring it up forever, and they're never gonna stop. Like that time he swung at that, and they don't care about it. Right. They don't even think about it. It's just that they needed a justification to hate him.
Well, and the other thing too is like college coaches, especially NCAA, like basketball coaches, on average, they're the highest paid state workers. On average, they get paid 10 times more than the student body president. So they have such like a position of power too.
That fucking sucks, by the way.
Yeah. So like that's the other thing is just like these guys that have all this pull and all this power in their position, just acting like chill. You know what I'm saying? Like at a certain point, it's literally
this country's a nightmare. When you told me that.
Well, yeah, but it's like at a certain point when you look at it, it's like
a nightmare.
Yeah, it's like a circle jerk. Like we're just watching these two freaking egomaniacs. Like that's what it turns into. You know what I mean? It's like we don't need to watch like two old men that like coach kids that don't get paid a damn thing and just go like, well, I didn't like the timeout that you called. Like who
maybe we shouldn't
cares?
Be paying these guys the most, huh?
Yeah, of course not. No shit.
God damn, this country is fucked. Thanks a lot, Byron.
This is America. Don't get you slipping up. Don't get you slipping up.
I love it.
Always be dripping up.
This is the Kanye version.
D-Main.
God damn it.
Speaking of, did you watch part 1 yet?
I have not. It is definitely on my list. I'm not there yet. I know I've had way too much shit going on. It is on my list, and I can't wait to watch it.
It's so good. Part 2 comes out.
I know. I keep hearing about it.
Part 2 will be out by the time this comes out. So
I'm good with that because I like to kind of wait anyways because I like to binge shit, and so it's just sort of one of those deals.
Well, his mom's in there. His mom's in there quite a bit. It's fucking
that's what I hear,
dude. It's fucking heartbreaking.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
I'm gonna wait until it's probably mostly out or all out, and then I'm just gonna kind of binge it more or less. How many parts is there supposed to be? Have they even said? 3. Okay. When's the third?
I believe it's next week. I believe it's coming out like over. It's like a 3-week event.
Okay, I'll probably wait till then, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. Because I'm busy all week anyway, so it's
that's fair. Well, it's worth it. It's worth the watching to get the chance. It's incredible.
Oh, I'm for sure not gonna miss it. I mean, that's just for sure.
Yeah.
However, I am also gonna have my time taken up a little bit because I am sincere, and you know this, in the fact that I am now going to be watching significantly more basketball. Because the season starts today.
Yeah, it's opening day.
It's opening game, dude. Season starts today. It's just one of those things, like when you're a fan of like a shit team, it's just like, even if they're a good team, like it's already hard enough for me to give a fuck about the first half of a super long season of a sport that I'm not as into.
Right.
You know, like baseball, I'll watch all 162, but it's just like basketball. I'm like, I love the Bulls. I love the Heat. But I'm not going to fucking sit here and watch a bunch of games that don't fucking matter. Like I expect that they're going to be as good as they are right now. If they weren't, I'd be like, what the fuck are they doing? I'd be like, why do they suck? Like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, if I was like a Laker fan, I'd be like, what is this shit? You know, I'd be confused. But, I expect them to be this good. And so now it's just kind of the fun of like, okay, we're at where I expected them to be. So you've hit my expectation. Now, can they raise my expectation? So I like to watch when I'm waiting to see if a team can, go past my expectation. I tried that with the Pistons for a little while, and they met and then fell below my expectation.
Yeah,
so
you set too high. I even warned you.
I didn't even have that high of expectations. I just expected them to be at least moderately watchable.
Yeah,
like not this fucking bad. Like Jesus, they suck.
Yeah, listen, man, they are in the dog days of the rebuild. Like this is when it's the toughest. Like because even
it's
like
so
because
bad.
Here's the thing, man. Like even last year, like when Sadiq and like Stu were playing, they weren't playing in a real NBA season. They didn't have all the They didn't have all the requirements or all the meetings, the press junkies, like all like press junkets, like everything that you have to do as an NBA player. Like this is their first true year of going through that, and the full travel,
for sure,
all the fans being there. Like this is just the dog. Like I said, it's the dog days of the rebuild. That's all it is. And so right now for like the rest of the year, really all it is going to be figuring out who's actually going to be staying in Detroit, who's actually going to be on the Pistons, because let's be honest, it's like not every guy that's on this roster right now, not even half of them are probably going to be on the roster when we're winning games. So that's just
most of these guys are gone.
Yep. So for now,
but yeah, and that's fine. And I'm with the team, and I love the Detroit Pistons. I do. But yeah, it's just kind of that time of the year, when you pull out the old other gear, and it's one of those things. Like I am an unabashed bandwagon fan when it comes to or fair weather fan in the NBA. It just is what it is. It's a sport that I can only watch if it's good. It's not a sport I can watch when it's bad.
It's honestly like how you are about baseball is how I am about basketball, and how I am about baseball is how you are about basketball.
See, senor. Because yeah, the Yankees, they were an unwatchable fucking mess. Now they still made the playoffs, so they couldn't have been that bad. Obviously, a lot of fans will be like, "Oh, fuck you." They still listen, asshole. I watched every fucking pitch last year.
I was forced to watch some of it with you. It was terrible.
That fucking team was unwatchable. I don't even know how we won as many games as we did, because that fucking team sucked dick and we should have missed the playoffs. I fucking hated last year's Yankees team. But I watched every game, every miserable fucking game, because I just really love baseball. And I really
fucking game.
Every game.
Fucking game.
You really do a great Leafy.
Hold on.
But like
hold on. Fucking. I'm gonna come.
But no, like, and even as much as I love hockey, and it probably would be different if the Golden Knights didn't play at fucking 10 o'clock. If they played at 7 o'clock, I'd be able to watch them, but they're on the West Coast. So
10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Or do you mean
it's kind of a problem.
10 o'clock?
Both. But yeah, dude, it's just I just like you said, with baseball, like you're only gonna watch when the Tigers are good,
right?
And that's just that.
Yeah.
And for me, like I still want to watch the sport of basketball, but the Pistons are fucking unwatchable. Like I'm not gonna sit there and dedicate however many hours a basketball game is to watch fucking dog shit. Like I'm just not gonna do that.
Well, now I'm obligated to.
Well, for sure, you're in a different situation, but for me, I'm like. I'm going to wait till halfway through the season. Actually, more than that. I'm going to see where the Heat are. I'm going to see where the Bulls are. And then I'm going to go and root for them, because the Pistons are so far out of it that they're going to probably get the first pick over. Like they're so far
I just respect it that like you're so smart of a bandwagoner that you know when to cash in. You know what I mean? Like you like you run out like 2/3 of the way through the season with the fucking briefcase, like, this day I see clearly. You're like, cash in, take the contract.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Dude.
And it's funny though, because like
it's so real to me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It is funny though, because like I was like, no, I'm gonna be a legit Heat fan. That's my team. And then I bailed on them, and then they made the final. Which of course, then I went back, and then I was like all in on the Heat or whatever.
And then you were out on them because they were playing like shit last year. Then this year, like, fuck them, and now they're good again. So now you're like, go Heat.
And then same with like the Bulls. The Bulls were unwatchable, and we got Vucevic and all these guys. I was like, they're lost. They're lost. And then now they're great. And I'm like, oh shit. So
Did I not tell you, by the way, to calm down on the Bulls? Did I not tell you that they were going to be good this year before even the off season last year?
You did not. In fact, you thought that they were going to be shit too.
I literally said when they got Vucevic last year that in the long term, that's going to be a really fucking good pairing. Did I not?
Think we should. I think we should roll back the tape. I think episode 1 of the Pizza Palace, you thought that they were going to be dog shit. I think we should roll back the tape. We're going to have to review that later.
What?
I'm pretty sure you said that they were shit.
You're on crack.
I think we need to roll back the tape. I think we should go back and watch episode 1.
Listen, if we had an editor, I would make him go do it. But the problem is the editor's me. So I would have to be
We will address this. We will address this next week. We are going to address this.
We will address this. But I will say,
yeah.
when they traded for Vucevic, I remember texting you, be like, dude, they just got Vucevic. They're actually going to be a lot better. And you were like, who?
Yes, that is true. That did happen.
So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. But then very quickly we both looked at it and we were like, and then you saw DeRozan and Ball and you're like, I don't think that's going to be a good pairing.
Well, yeah, the DeMar DeRozan thing. I will admit I did not think that was going to work. Now, no one else was expecting DeMar DeRozan to come out and have 30+ point games and have an overall career resurgence to play the best basketball of his life. People weren't expecting that in Chicago. I'm not gonna feel bad that I didn't see that coming because freaking nobody did.
For sure, but I think everybody thought best case scenario they sort of make the playoffs. Worst case scenario they're just ass, and I think a lot of us thought that they were going to be somewhere in the middle.
Now, can I just say
nobody expected this shit?
Can I just say one deal that the Lakers had on the table was to bring DeMar DeRozan to the Lakers for 3 years.
Bruh.
But the Lakers did not want to sign him to a 3-year deal, so that's why DeMar DeRozan ultimately decided to go to Chicago, is because the Lakers wouldn't give him a 3-year deal.
Bruh. Wait, so did he take a 3-year with the Bulls?
Yeah, he has a 3-year with the Bulls.
Bruh.
So the Bulls are really just
3 years of him. Let's go.
Yeah, literally, like Chicago is like, oh, so you won't take that contract? Okay, we will. So
fuck yeah, that's dope.
So they have him for 2 more years.
Let's go.
Now, here's the thing: DeMar DeRozan's getting older. He could potentially go all Blake Griffin on this contract and get injured and be a shell of himself later on in the contract. However, right now DeMar DeRozan's playing great. Let's go! Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's going too well to like find any silver lining. Like, seriously, it's so fucking good. You know what I mean?
And also, let's just point out the fact that he's already way better than Blake Griffin ever was for the Pistons, and they're way further than the Pistons ever were.
Hey, don't you fucking care?
That's the best one,
isn't it?
That's the best one,
and it's by fucking far too. Like, nothing is fucking close. You know what I'm saying?
That's a permanent drop. That one's amazing.
100%.
Permanent drop.
100%.
Yeah, you know what's funny too is that like the typical bandwagoner, I feel like, goes to whatever team is best.
Do they, Robert?
More or less. Well, what I'm saying is they usually, so like I feel like the traditional bandwagoner, it's like the Warriors. Right now, they would probably be fans of maybe the Suns. Yeah. The Lakers are always in play, like shit like that, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, I am a bandwagon fan. I'm not gonna contest that because I am in the NBA. But I will say that I have picked the weirdest gaggle of teams.
You have.
Like, I did not pick the 3 best. Now, they've been playing very well. Obviously, the Heat have had some very good years since LeBron happened and all that kind of stuff in D-Wade. The Bulls have not won a fucking championship since 98. So, let's settle down.
You did, however, just so happen to pick the 2 teams that currently have the best ranking in the Eastern Conference in that order, Heat and Bulls.
It is true. However, I might add, I chose these teams, both of them, when they were shit, and I do flip to them when they're good.
Oh yeah, no, so I will give you credit. You were around for the bad times. You were. It's
one of those weird things of like, it is the bandwagon of I am only rooting for them and watching them because they are good. That is true. No question.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would not watch these teams nearly as much if they were ass. However, I still liked them. Like, even if this team was in like last, I would still like them, but I wouldn't be like watching them. I'd treat them the same way I do the Pistons. I love the Pistons. If they were on top of the world, I'd watch every game. Right. But it's just one of those things. Like, if they're bad, I'm like, eh.
No,
But
I
you
don't
know,
blame you.
and I get flack for that a lot of the time, but it's like, dude, my dad and even you are like huge Tigers fans, but you haven't watched a fucking, baseball game in God knows how long.
I mean, it's all about tolerance, right? So like a lot of
Right.
Pistons fans right now are like, they can't do it, and I understand. And here's the thing.
Yep.
I just have a different tolerance with the Pistons. Like this is what I wanted them to do for years. So like if anything, I'm supposed to buckle up and enjoy the ride because this is literally what I was asking for. Now, obviously, there's going to be a point where I want this team to cash in and make a count and win a championship, but that point isn't right now. It's not yet. Like that's down the road, and that's okay. I'm willing to wait because there's things in the interim that are worth waiting for. I have fun watching things like the Rising Stars Challenge and watching our 3 guys going out there and being the 3 best guys on the court that night. I enjoy watching the games like Boston where you see the progression, where you see Jeremy Grant, Sadiq Bey, and Cade Cunningham all play well together on the court at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like I watch for things like the Marvin Bagley acquisition and to see like what he could do with his career and what the story would be of him turning it around. So like those are the reasons why I watch personally. You know what I'm saying? So it all comes down to like what you're in it for. You know what I mean?
And I can watch some of that. I can't watch every game of it. If there's like an interesting matchup or if we're there in person, I'm all in for that kind of shit. And I like to watch the highlights. I like to hear from you. I like to watch your videos and stuff like that about these topics and stuff like that. But watching on a night in, night out. Yes. Yeah.
On a night in, night out basis, it's tough. It is tough. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. There have been multiple games that I had to just stay watching and I didn't like. There are a couple games I just straight up haven't written about because I didn't want to. Because like I watched them and I was like literally there are some games where I'm like, what even is there to say? You know what I mean? Like there's
Nothing.
just exactly. But you know what? That's okay because those like I only write when like I find there's something to write about. That's kind of That's kind of my stance on it is like, when there's something interesting to report or if there's developments to talk about or if there's something that needs to be said after this game, I'll write about it. Otherwise, I'm not going to waste the reader's time if I think it's a waste of mine.
That is super well said. I think for me as a fan, I think one of the things that is strange with me is that I think that I like a lot of different things for different reasons.
Uh-huh.
And I think that I just struggle to sort of like just pick one thing when there's so many cool things. And I'm like, what is stopping me from liking multiple things? Because it's like, I like the Pistons because I like you and because I like my hometown and I like, the home feel. Like there's a certain like emotional aspect of rooting for the Pistons, right? Yeah. I like the Heat because of these cool fucking jerseys behind me for the most part.
You mean the ones that they're ditching?
Correct. They already did.
Yeah.
This one too.
Yeah.
I forgot that the pink one was hidden.
The one that they're actively ditching. Allow me to clarify.
Very true. But I do love their red and their white and their black. I don't love the new one that's like the one that's like
a blend of everything. The one that's
it's horrible.
Yeah, it's an abomination anyway. Yeah.
But I like the way the Heat look. I like the vibe. I feel like the Heat are the team that I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of this team. Like if I had to probably pick a team that was like, that's the team I'm a fan of, it's the Miami Heat. That's my team. The Pistons are my team, like in my heart and in my soul. Like that's because of the connection with you, because of going to the games, because of the story, because of Cade Cunningham, because of it's a different thing.
I know, but that number one team flipped so often. Like it was the Bulls for so long, and now the
Bulls, I must admit, is a nostalgia bullshit. Which I wasn't even alive for Jordan. Really,
come on, bro, you were having a ball when they were fucking winning games.
Oh no, I absolutely. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not gonna try to pretend here though that I like this team for almost any other reason than like the fact that it's the iconic Bulls.
Oh, I know. It was.
I mean, who doesn't like them because they're the iconic fucking Bulls? They had Jordan Pistons and my favorite player in history,
Pistons
Dennis
fans.
Rodman. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is that there are no Pistons fans. But like
I'm just like, I'm like, don't make me fucking come over there. I will fucking murder your ass. Every fucking fiber in my body will fucking tear you apart, you little fucking shit.
So, but the thing with the Bulls, like, obviously there's a lot of times where I liked the Bulls when they were bad or when they had like different guys that I love. I genuinely love Zach LaVine. Love Zach LaVine. But my favorite player of all time is Dennis Rodman. Of all time.
Right.
And, it just is what it is. He is a Pistons legend. He almost killed himself in the parking lot. But it... But yeah, no, it's just totally that thing of like there's different vibes of like why I like the team. Like I like the iconic look. I like the iconic sound. I like the iconic highlights of the Bulls or whatever. There's something about that to be said. It's the same reason probably why I love the Raiders in a lot of ways. It's like you just see like the Raiders,
Yeah.
Whereas like the Buccaneers is my team. Right. You know what I mean? Like the Bucks are my fucking team. Whereas like the Lions, if they were really good and they had a chance at winning a Super Bowl, I would be emotionally involved because of people like you and friends and family and whatever that would be like involved. Like they're not my team, but like I like them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And similarly, I think that's just the way it is. Now, I think the Pistons, I'm much closer to that being like, that's the team I'm a fan of because that is the team that I actively root for at this point. But I do think that the Heat were probably the closest to being like a team that I just sort of decided that I liked, that I was a fan of, to where I genuinely like the organization. I still root for them. I still consider myself a fan and all this kind of good stuff and whatever, to where it's like, that if they won the championship, I'd be very happy and I would be ecstatic as a fan and stuff like that. But like, obviously it doesn't have like the hometown thing of the Pistons and all that kind of good stuff. And whatever.
For sure.
But yeah, it's just weird. I feel like I always have 2 to 3 teams in every sport, and it's always for just different reasons. It's like there's the iconic one that I like because of the nostalgia, which in hockey is like the Islanders or some shit. And then there's like the hometown team that I grew up with, the Red Wings. And then there's the like sexy team that I just think is really cool, like the Vegas Golden Knights.
Right.
So it just is what it is. I'm always that way, and I've accepted it. And anyone who doesn't like that can fuck themselves. They can indeed fuck themselves. So it is what it is. Actually, in baseball, same thing. Yeah. Now the New York Yankees are my number one. I will root over any team. I don't care if the fucking Tigers. I like the Tigers, and they're my hometown team.
The people at home know you're a Yankees fan, Robert. There's no disputing it.
Bruh, my thing is, I'm like, that's the one. I feel like if the Red Wings played the Golden Knights, I would probably root for the Red Wings because I'd be like, oh, I love the Golden Knights, but like it's the Red Wings, or like the Pistons over the Heat. I'd probably, Pistons. Whatever. No fucking way. The New York Yankees. I'm just like, sorry, Tigers. It is what it is. Yep. Now, if the Tigers went to the championship and the Yankees weren't involved, hey, you know what? Go Tigers.
Now, Robert,
or whatever, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, Robert, this has been a great episode. This has been a great conversation. But I have to take a massive shit. And I am
so glad that made it to air.
And I was like, oh,
you should have.
It almost made it to air in different ways, but I'm just like, I'm like, at this point, we're just reciting.
Censor.
Yeah, at this point, we're reciting who your favorite teams are. I'm like, we know who your favorite teams are, you motherfucker. I'm sorry, I gotta take a shit.
That's fair. That's fair. Listen. This is the conversational tangent podcast, so I just it goes where it goes. You know what I mean?
It goes.
I catch the waves where they are.
Yeah. Now this wave
and you got it goes.
Yeah. Now that's gonna have the bowel wave.
That's great.
Oh my
all right, man. Well, until next time, we will see you all, and you will see how week 1 of the NBA season goes.
Woo! It's gonna be a fucking blast.
Absolutely. All right, I love you, man. See you.
Love you. Ow.